everyone, welcome back to GoLocal Live. I'm Ava Gaudette, and next up in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center, I have this gentleman whose voice you may recognize. He has been the host of the radio show A Celtic Sojourn for WGBH for over 30 years. Brian O'Donovan, how are you today?
I'm really good, Ava. Great to be with you.
Thanks for being here today. So we have you on the show, obviously, to talk about a Christmas Celtic Sojourn coming here to Providence tomorrow night. This is a concert that you have been hosting for 15 years. You're coming to Providence, and so we're really happy to have you. And I wanted to talk a little bit about you and your experience with WGBH. One of the things that I read that was one of my favorite things I read is that you came to Boston on a trip meant to be here for 3 weeks, and you ended up staying.
For a long time.
For a long time. So tell us.
Happened. I arrived here in 1980 and fell in love with the city very quickly. What's not to love about Boston and this region, this whole area of New England? And then very, very shortly afterwards, I met my wife and we got engaged 3 days later, and we've been together for 37 years since. So
Amazing.
That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. That is true. I never intended to live in this area. I intended to move back to Ireland, and it never happened, needless to say.
How does your family feel about that?
My family was fine with it. America is, and especially Boston, is very familiar to the Irish to begin with. So many immigrants came here over the many, many years, and quite frankly, it's become even closer with the flights. Just a one-stop flight. It's fairly quick. It's often not really expensive. So the connections between the two areas really suited me and suited my family, and I go to Ireland almost 6 times a year. So
oh wow, great.
I probably go home more than somebody who lives in Chicago goes home.
Yeah, absolutely. I lived in LA. I didn't come back to New England that often, so that's great. Yeah, we have great deals leaving from Providence Airport to Ireland as well. So.
We're doing that, actually. A shout out to Norwegian and to TF Green. Yeah. What a great combination that is. And I'm from Cork in Southern Ireland, so going a little off topic, but it really means a huge difference to anybody. It makes a huge difference to anybody from the south of Ireland to be able to fly from TF Green outside of Providence directly into Cork, which we are doing in January for the first time. I'll let you know how we get on.
Oh, please do. Yeah, we've talked about it quite a bit on GoLocal Live, actually. So that's great that you get to utilize their awesome deals.
Absolutely, they are.
So I want to talk a little bit about your show on WGBH. You've been doing it for a long time. You obviously love music. Tell us a little bit about how that came about and how you've been able to do it for so long.
Well, I grew up really passionate about the music that was around me, traditional Irish music. Interestingly, I came to it kind of late. When we were growing up, largely we were very fascinated with the rock and roll scene that was going on in England and America. Particularly for me, I was really struck by the amazing musicianship and the whole social structure of Woodstock, for example.
Yeah.
That era, and it really attracted me. So we were rock and roll kids in a backward part of Europe, really looking towards England and the US for guidance, for the light of rock. But then in the late 1960s, early 1970s, traditional Irish music started to change. Groups like Planxty and the Bothy Band, 2 now famous groups, came along, and they employed some rock and roll systems towards traditional Irish music. Individual musicians taking breaks, for example, and with a rock band. And they changed the face of music and really attracted a younger generation, my generation, into the music. And after that, I became passionate about it. And when I came to the US and decided to stay here, as I explained earlier on, I went back to grad school at Emerson College, largely for communications. I really had a deep interest in radio, and that offered me an ability to get on air for the first time, bringing this music to a wider audience. And essentially, since then, I've been the messenger of what I believe passionately in is a very vital and vibrant musical type, and bringing it over the air and live in concerts like the Christmas Celtic Sojourn has really fed that passion.
Yeah. It's really cool what you do because you're able to really showcase a musical genre that doesn't get tons of airplay or exposure. And part of what you do is, you're finding these artists. So how much time do you actually spend, listening to new music and seeking out different artists that you're going to feature on your show?
Well, a lot of time. I would say probably all of my time.
So you better love it, right?
Exactly. It's not done in a workman-like way. It's not as if I kind of say, okay, I'm now going to spend the next 2 hours looking for new artists. It happens rather organically. It's my lifestyle. This is what I love to listen to, as well as all sorts of music. And I travel regularly to music festivals, and I'm a huge advocate as well for live music. In fact, I would say I'm a live music activist. I encourage people to go and support live music, whatever the genre. Hip-hop, electronica, rock, modern jazz, classical music, trad music, folk music, whatever it is so much better experienced live. I often say on air, on my own program, that what I am doing there and bringing you recordings, even over the air, is a distant second best to seeing anything live. So, and that's where I get going from. And then I travel to Europe to festivals and come across all sorts of new young musicians and established musicians who I like to bring to the stage and say to the audience who trusts me to do such things, is to say, look what I found. Essentially,
it's a really cool thing, right? Because you get to be that in between go-to person that people seek out when they want to know, the next up-and-coming artist in this genre. And I definitely sign off on your love of going to see live music, whatever it is. It's something that I definitely love to support here on my show as well. So let's talk a little bit about this Christmas tradition that you guys have started 15 years ago, a Christmas Celtic Sojourn. It's an amazing event. It involves music and dancing. Tell us a little bit about this year's show and what you're going to be featuring in the performance.
Well, the show is really an old-fashioned variety show. Of course, Christmas is its theme, but it's not exclusively Christmas. It really reflects the memories that I have of gathering with friends and family in Ireland around Christmas time, which is, after all, the darkest time of the year.
Yeah.
In pre-Christian times, the largely agrarian societies of that area of Europe, the northwest part of Europe, really celebrated the solstice by celebrating the fact that they were still alive. These were freezing cold times when there wasn't a lot of food being grown. They had to have stores stocked up for winter time. They had to have wood to keep warm. And they really, at the very darkest time, decided to celebrate that they were at the very bottom of the darkest time, and after this particular period, it was going to get light and bright. So the arrival of the light, the extension of the days, was then used by early Christians very conveniently to say, oh, this is when Christ was born, who's a representative of light. So it's a great blend of two traditions meeting around this time of the year, and we celebrate those on stage in a light-hearted, fun way with a lot of emotion built in as well. So what we hear and what is fed back is that it's an emotional show, it's something that everybody can identify with, it's fun, and it gets people in the spirit of this time of the year, and the Christmas spirit, in other words, very, very quickly. And that's why people have used it as a tradition over the 15 years.
Yeah. And is it all Celtic music? Would you describe it as all Celtic music, or is there a variety of different music?
Very, very varied, actually. I mean, Celtic music, which is largely Scottish and Irish music, even though this year we include a beautiful song from Cornwall, for example, in the south of England, which is also a Celtic country. But we don't shy away from moving in different directions. We have featured this year a beautiful piece called Carol of the Birds, which is a Catalan from Catalonia in Spain, a Catalan carol that was made famous by Pablo Casals, the great cellist. And it's because we've got a wonderful cellist, Natalie Haas, with us, and we decided that Carol of the Birds really fitted in a certain part of our show. Also, Ave Verum Corpus, which was written by Mozart, is a vocal piece in our show. So these blend very, very cleanly in with traditional Irish music, traditional Irish dance, and a lot of Irish humor, certainly.
So, and you're not just hosting. I read that you and your wife are also going to be singing. Is that something that you've always loved to do? Is that being a singer yourself something that you aspire to do?
And I certainly don't aspire to it. I don't aspire to such things. But I have always enjoyed singing. It's certainly been a family value of mine, and something I love to do. Excuse me, again at this time of the year particularly. My wife is a pianist and does that professionally. I regard myself as a participant in this gathering, and rather than one of the featured musicians. But I guess I can sing. I can do a little bit of other things, musicianship, but it's not in a professional sense. But this is really about a gathering, and the audience is invited in as well, Eva. It's not just us on stage presenting something. We ask people to participate, sing along, and just be a part of our gathering in whatever theatre we go to.
So does this help you also get into the holiday spirit? Because I know people that are in communications or the entertainment industry, we're often working at this time of year when other people are going out to enjoy themselves. So, 15 years of doing this Christmas concert, does this help you get into the spirit? Do you have other Christmas traditions that you enjoy?
It's interesting that you asked that. Actually, for 15 years, we've really invested so much in this that we celebrate Christmas during the run of the shows. Now, this year is going to be special because we're going to New York to visit our first grandchild, was born just a couple of months ago.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. It's really, really heartwarming for us. It's kind of life-changing. Anybody out there that has a grandchild will know. I say it from stage. I say that somebody said once that grandchildren fill the hole in your heart that you never knew was there. Especially around Christmas time, it's particularly uplifting. But often we get so exhausted from celebrating Christmas for the 15 shows that we do. We used to live in Newton, Massachusetts, where we had many, many Jewish friends. And on Christmas Day, they used to say, Brian, the O'Donovans turned Jewish because we would go to a Chinese restaurant and go to the movies.
Right. You're like exhausted by the time Christmas rolls around.
We've had so much Christmas, but it's a wonderful time of the year, and we love all those traditions.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show to talk about it. Again, Christmas Celtic Sojourn tomorrow night at the Vets. It sounds like an absolutely beautiful event. We're excited to have you here in Providence, and thank you again for coming on GoLocal Live to talk about it.
Well, we hope to see you at the Vet. Those folks do an amazing job, and there's a huge renovation that I think the city was involved in. And
Yes.
we made a huge difference to that magnificent theatre, and we love being there. The other thing that we find, Eva, at the close of this, is that the Providence audience is particularly warm. They come ready to enjoy themselves for Christmas. They often come in their Christmas finery, including wonderful, ugly, or maybe not so ugly, Christmas sweaters, but they do so with a sense of humor, a sense of occasion, and they love to join in with us in singing the Christmas songs. It's really a fun time.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you enjoy it here. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of holiday spirit. Even just watching folks walk around downtown Providence today, I'm seeing a lot of Christmas sweaters. So, yeah, if that's a sign of how much we love it.
Thanks again.
Thank you, Brian. And I'm going to take another quick pause to set up for my next guest, so stick around.